Well, we're off to another great start to the week as Eagles Radio once again trying to tear down Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. Joe DeCamera this morning saying Jalen Hurts, quote, acted like a baby last week. I think Lori is probably really ticked. I think he is playing with some fire. Like I said a few days ago, this is absolutely ridiculous. I think it's bogus and taken out of context, and definitely check out the last video where I discussed this more. But why I wanted to bring this up is we're actually going to dive into something Jalen Hurts did say that actually has a positive impact and means something for this team moving forward. But I do think there will be differing opinions on both sides, and I'm going to give my take on it. So I'm interested to hear what Eagle Nation has to say. Welcome into A to Z Philly. I'm RB. Do us a favor, like the video if you enjoy it, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. Jalen Hurts talking the other day about Kellen Moore's offense said that it is 95% new. Here is what Jalen Hurts had to say in terms of learning the new offense and what that process has been like.
Yeah, I think this whole entire offseason, it's been about learning and taking in the new knowledge, new perspective, in the minds that we have in the room. And I think throughout the whole entire thing, that's kind of been the emphasis. You get to a point where you kind of feel, hey, I'm gonna feel comfortable with this. I'm gonna like this, but that time comes where you can rep it later on. But right now it's been a lot of new inventory in.
A lot of new inventory in, says Jalen Hurts, in this offense. Now, there are going to be the people that say, well, this is not good because Jalen Hurts is trying to juggle a lot and it's going to take time, et cetera, et cetera. I understand that from a certain aspect. The one thing I not only have an issue with, but maybe a little bit concerned with is constantly having Jalen Hurts try to learn new systems, right? Like, I feel like long-term success will come from a quarterback who finds that right coach, that right system, that right pairing, and is able to replicate that over and over. So the fact that, Jalen Hurts has had to go from the Shane Steichen offense to the Brian Johnson offense to then now the Kellen Moore offense, I think that's a little bit tricky for him. And he did it in college too, trying to learn different roles and just how to play differently from different teams and different systems. But not saying he can't handle it. It's just tough when you get to that NFL level. So that's really the one thing I would be concerned about. But I also think it makes him better as a player, makes him more adaptive, more versatile. And that's the one thing that the Eagles did not have last year. I feel like they were very one-dimensional. They were, very narrow on their thinking. They didn't experiment, try anything new. And I do think that Brian Johnson held this team back. I think he definitely made these guys take a step back. But with the talent that they have, I think they're going to be fine. But it will take some time to adjust to that new offense. But those wrinkles are needed to develop this team into a long-term successful offense, in my opinion.
Majority of it, probably 95% of it being new. And so it's just been that process, and it's been a fun process because you get to see what works for other people. The number of coaches that I've had since I've been here, I've been able to take in a lot of new knowledge and new understanding. And so I think the goal coming in was to, learn Kellen's offense and master it. And I think that's been a process. And I think by the end of it, I want it to be mine and have it in my own way. I think that's kind of a credit to, again, the lack of continuity with that, and it being a thing where I've kind of had to take all these new things and new voices and still go out there and be successful and efficient.
Absolutely. And Jalen Hurts used a great word to describe it as well, continuity, right? Just building that continuity factor and just being more comfortable. So I think he's been put through a lot. Obviously, he needs to step up, return to MVP form. I do think that a coach can really impact the player's game. I don't think it's everything, but with Brian Johnson out there, what the Eagles did last year, there's a reason they didn't start off games hot. There's a reason they were, terrible on third down. There's a reason they were so one-dimensional. It felt like they only had 10 plays in the playbook. Every time a 3rd and 5 came up, you knew it was either going to be, a read option or a quarterback keeper or run up the middle or like a bomb down the sideline, and it just made zero sense. They didn't do anything, pre-snap to get these guys in mismatches. They didn't do anything to get the running backs involved later in the season. I feel like they put Jalen at a lot of risk, and they didn't even use their best weapons all the time. Like even a simple 6-yard slant route to AJ or Devontae could have really helped ignite this team early in games last year, and they just really never did it. And people were left scratching their heads, probably including Jalen as well, which is why the radio is probably trying to tag onto that and say, oh, well, now he's not comfortable with Sirianni, et cetera, et cetera. I think bringing in new coordinators is the right thing. I'm a little worried about, constantly switching from system to system, but if there's a guy that can handle it, it's Jalen Hurts. Look at how much he improved early in his career already, and even from college. So this guy's going to be just fine. I think there will be a lot of new wrinkles in the Eagles offense, whether it's him being under center or even play action or just moving guys around that will really help this team exploit defenses and put fear into them on a weekly basis. But of course, you have guys out here like James Jones, former Packers wide receiver, who says, every time I've seen a team change their playbook, it equals a slow start. It's going to be tough for the Eagles. I feel like in the offseason, when a team has a really good roster, it's either they're going to be the greatest, they're not going to be stopped, they're going to the Super Bowl, or they try to find a way to bring them down. Fair criticism here, fair take from James Jones, but that doesn't translate to what you've seen in terms of this Eagles team. This Eagles team is completely different. They've now added another lethal weapon. They have two of the best receivers in the game. They have Jalen Hurts, who is multifaceted and, can even break off a 30-yard run in addition to all the things they can do in the air. So I don't agree with this 100%. I think the Eagles will be fine. It will take time, but guess what they have right now? A lot of time, and I think the Eagles offense is going to be very refreshing in 2024. If it's not, then yes, Sirianni could be on the hot seat. You might have to switch people around in the organization. But as of right now, they got rid of whatever the heck that was last year, and now you get to start fresh, and hopefully this is the last time you'll have to make a major change like this, at least for several years, because you can't keep doing this every single year. But I do think Jalen Hurts will thrive on that pressure. I think he's absorbed a lot of knowledge and learned a lot, and I'm excited to see how the Birds offense looks this season. But give me your thoughts down below. Do you think this is a good or bad change? How do you feel about 95% of the offense being new? Give me your thoughts. Also, real quick, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor of today's video. It is the great BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using our code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlays, live bets, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. So go ahead and find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today with the bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions.